Guys, I've got to get into this video quick and fast, and we got to talk about some behaviors that are turning men and women off from each other. Just this week alone, I spoke to several different men about some behaviors that they believe is messing up their relationship and turning them off from their wives, unfortunately. So I was very curious because they were saying the same things, and I said, this is very enlightening, and I wish there were more platforms. I wish there were more discussions about these different behaviors that are affecting men and women, and maybe a class to teach them the different things that causes men and women to pull away from each other. So I said I'm gonna make a video just to get into some of the behaviors that I am hearing on the street, and your girl is gonna update you with new information and talk to you about these different things that she's hearing. I gotta give you the scoop, so let's talk. And guys, how do we go from the bubbly feeling, the butterfly feelings when you've met somebody, however you have met them, and you establish from the beginning that you like each other, and you start talking on the phone, and the butterfly feelings start come, and you can't even go through the door when you're hanging out. As soon as you walk through that door, you hear songs like, I miss you like crazy, I miss you, baby, ever since you went away, every hour, every day, even though. Anyway, how we get from those type of songs to I'm too experienced, well, if you're Jamaican, you'll understand, to be taken for a ride, as if a woman is starting to play games with her partner after she was, doing everything right. How we jump from missing you like crazy to I'm too experienced to be taken for a ride? How do we go from there, that one extreme to the next? Somebody's dropping the ball, and I want to get to the bottom of this. I need to find out, right? We need to talk about some behaviors that lead to people wanting to distance themselves from their partner. Top of the video and top of the list is the biggest thing that I heard this week from the guys. The guys started to talk about their marriage, and everything was perfect. The dating world was nice. Everything was fine and dandy. As soon as they got married and they're together, they said number one on the list, like right off the bat, the affection changed towards them. Their wives started to not even want to hold their hands anymore, not even to initiate a hug or a kiss. None of that. Everything was out the door. They went as far as to say they didn't even want to initiate intimacy. The men had to be the ones who would ask them for a kiss or a hug, or all of that was out the door, and they were saying it was pushing them out the door. And unfortunately, some of them fell into infidelity. They did mention that they fell into infidelity and was feeling so bad about it, because now it created such a wedge between them in the marriage. And I'm not condoning any form of infidelity, however it happens, whatever causes it. It's hard on both sides. Women have their own reasons why they start pulling back, which number one thing in a relationship is communication. If you don't have communication, then what is a relationship without communicating? What needs aren't being met? Talk to your partner. What is going on? What's wrong? The men that spoke this week, some of them had no clue what was going on, why the intimacy changed, why there was no more affection. They said they're crying, it's like dying inside from how their wife is treating them. They feel unwanted. They express those words, unwanted and not valued anymore. And for the guys, when a woman starts to withhold physical contact or whatever is leading her to not initiate, a kiss, a hug, or even intimacy with her partner, as a married couple, then it's very important to get to the bottom of the problem and find out what's wrong. If both partners are closed off, your wife is quiet about what's going on, you're seeing these behaviors and you're not trying to find out what's going on, asking her to open up, asking her to talk about it, it's gonna lead to, some men do step out. And for these men that I spoke to last week into this week, they did mention that they ended up stepping out, unfortunately, and now are trying to fix the relationship. Because of course the truth did come out, the infidelity, they communicated that to their wives, and it led to even further problems, which that's why infidelity is really and truly never the answer. But it is important that if there's a problem, that both men and women sit down and discuss and try to iron that problem out. In these particular instances with these guys, they did say that they went to their wives and they spoke about what happened, what's causing all of the lack of connection between them and their husbands. And the wives, they said a lot of excuses came up, and they started to change for a little bit and then reverted right back to the same behavior. And it's almost like they felt like giving up. Like, what's the point? What's the use? Because it's not going to change. Then it's like a hopeless relationship at this point. I would say that if counseling is not involved, after you've talked to your partner, communication is number one, and you talk to your partner, and no, a counselor needs to get involved to find out the root of the problem, because this partner doesn't want to share the actual reason. I feel like there's something missing from the equation, and some people they do not like to communicate. They do not like to express themselves. And why get married if you can't speak? No one can read anyone's mind. It's like you're asking for a breakdown of your relationship by not wanting to talk, or you might not value the relationship at all and you just don't want to say it. Honesty is very important in a relationship. Be honest, communicate. We're talking about adults here and not children. So for adults, you should be able to speak to your partner unless they create an unsafe atmosphere when you are in communication with them, where you feel like they're judging you, they're criticizing you, they're aggressive, they're violent, even putting their hands on you, which I wouldn't advise anyone to stay in a physically abusive relationship. So it's important to get counseling involved to get to the bottom of why are you not into me anymore? What's going on? You're not talking to me, so let's talk to somebody else. And I would suggest a very educated and very strong counselor with good reviews. Guys, do you know that nagging, I would probably put that at the top of the list. Apart from lack of communication, nagging is one of the detrimental behaviors in relationships. It tears it apart big time. Let me tell you something. If your home and your home is like a safe space for you, a safe space and a safe place. When you come home from a hard day's work, you just want to sit down and you just want to relax. You want your feet massaged after walking all day. You want to sit down, like lay down in the bed with your husband and or your wife, and you just want to watch some TV and relax and just unwind. But instead, you're hearing all types of complaints about the wrongs that you're doing in the relationship. You can't find any peace of mind in an environment with nagging. And the Bible also says a nagging woman, and believe me, you have nagging men also. A nagging woman it equates it to the rain on top of the rooftop that is just beating the rooftop. It's just ongoing, dripping on the rooftop, and it's just the constant talking and the constant negativity, and you feel like just sometimes when you get home from work, you just stay in your car and just unwind and just in the car for a moment. Just like, when I get inside that house, it's gonna be too much, it's gonna be overbearing, and I want my peace. I want to be able to just enjoy my time and my happiness I just want to unwind with my husband or my wife and just relax in their arms, just watching TV and just enjoying my little downtime because I'm not at work. Work was such a stressful day. It was such a stressful day at work. You get a little massage and either your feet or your back massage, and you give the same to your partner, and you guys are just relaxing. But instead you come in there, you left the dishes in the sink last night. I would say the dishes should be washed, but there's a time and place for everything. Talk about that later on. Not as soon as you walk through the door, you're gonna hear all the wrongs that you did. And sometimes adults act like children. They leave their clothes all over the floor. The sink they don't even remove the toothpaste stains off the mirror for those who do that, because I just never can understand the flashing of the toothpaste on the mirror and walking out the house and leaving it, or the clothes all over the floor. And just, it's very important to try to keep a very clean place for both partners to not have issues. Be on the same page and establish that from the get-go. What are your likes versus your dislikes, so that there might not be any nagging. But the nagging part, guys, I don't know about anybody else, but for me, that is just too much. You need your peace in these hard times already. We already know that God is the only one that brings that peace that surpasseth all understanding that we could ever think of. But at the same time, I'm going to need you to be my peace. When I get home from work, I'm going to need you to be nice, to be calm, to be supportive. How was your day, honey? And I'm going to do the same, because that's what we need. In this crazy world, we need support, and we need strong support at home from our partners. I want to go back to those times when I used to fall asleep or listen to those songs. I got love on my mind. Instead of that, we're thinking about, although we've come to the end of the road, still up. You're not gonna want to let go of me because you're losing a good thing. I'm just kidding. But seriously, because it said, still I can't let go, right? But anyway, do the right thing, guys, and work on these behaviors, because it's causing major issues in marriages, in relationships. So the lack of accountability, I didn't talk about that one, but the poor listening, not listening to your partner, the not actively listening, the not being consistent and reliable, and being committed, wanting to be committed and following through on where are we going in this relationship by putting in the work. Those behaviors, man. Rewind the video every time you start to misbehave and just say, let me see what Sid told me. Let me go back and watch it so that I can get some tips and see how to work on my relationship. And ladies, when we get married, sometimes we do take our partners for granted, and we really stop touching and stop hugging and stop kissing. And some people, it happens because if you're pregnant, I can honestly say pregnancy messes up the hormones, because I was pregnant and I know a lot of issues that come with pregnancy. A lot of people have no clue, but if you were in a woman's body, then you would understand how it messes up your whole feeling. It's like crazy. I can tell you, even my vocal cords, my voice box completely changed. I used to have a soft, sweet tone, and even the hormones got triggered to the point where I can sing deep, like bass. And it's so weird to me when I could sing like a Mariah Carey range, that high note. You could ask my sisters, even though you don't know them. But seriously, the hormones haywired after pregnancy. It's crazy. Thank you for watching this video. If you've made it to the end of the video, God bless you. Big up yourself. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, and leave your thoughts, guys. I love your thoughts. I love to hear what you have to share as I give my own feedback on things. I love to engage with you guys. So love you guys. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for supporting, and one love.